Good morning, Madera Unified. This is Todd Lyle, your superintendent. I want to talk to you about what's happening all around the country right now. There's no shortage of coverage, of course. But one of the biggest problems is nothing's new. I grew up in the Rodney King era, right? I was a 1992 graduate, and we graduated after just witnessing the LA riots. And we really believed at that time that something would change because it was caught on camera. Now we know that's just not true. Our students have been telling us that this problem has been real for a very long time. Even as a high school basketball player, I remember when teammates of mine were stopped while having lunch and made to get out of the car and made to feel like they'd done something wrong. Although charged with nothing and let go, that image really stuck with me. They felt terrible. They felt like they didn't fit. They felt like they were embarrassed on the side of the road. And that's one of those things that when you hear it and you know that the people who experience are telling the truth, you don't need to see it on film because it resonates deeply and it's not right. It's been going on for far too long. And that's why our board has asked us to really pay attention to student voice. Our students have told us for quite a while that they don't feel like they're always known in class, that they're always paid attention to, unless it's for something negative. And then they're absolutely noticed. Our students have shared this with us, and they even shared the really poignant statement, "There's nothing for me here." That was an elementary student who said that. None of those things feel good for us who spend our lives trying to educate and enlighten kids. Now we know that fairness is absolutely essential to the American experience. It always has been and it always will be, but we haven't ever mastered it. We haven't really doubled down on making sure that it was true. Now, our board is really committed to that fairness. When West Ed came and gave the final report from their empathy interviews, our board had some righteous indignation. They were very disappointed to hear how the way our students report they feel. It's important for us to all recognize that we've been working on this as an issue for about a year now. In our February We Believe article, I outlined that work and the value of it and the deep resonance that it has with our students and our staff. It might be surprising for some of us to know that we have staff members who work right alongside us who feel like they are invisible. Their contribution doesn't matter. Their life story is discounted. They sometimes feel like we're not listening or taking them seriously, that they're having to overcome even one more hurdle after all the hurdles they've overcome in life. And here they are sitting at a table in a circle, knowing that even though that's the shape of unity and equality, they don't feel equal and they don't feel unified. That goes to every single one of us. We have a professional obligation. We have an ethic to include all of us to make sure that no matter who we are, no matter our background or gender, that we are equal and that we do matter in this system. It's really important that we recognize that those staff members who feel that way aren't anonymous to you. They are sitting next to you. You know them, but they're not sharing that because they're concerned that your silence on these issues is representative of the way you feel. And we know that that's not always true. Sometimes our silence is really representative of not knowing what to say or being concerned that our foot will go right in our mouths. We don't want to ever disappoint. We don't want to give someone the wrong impression. So sometimes we imagine silence is golden. In a time like this, it's not. It's the opposite, right? Silence leads people to maybe mistrust. We know that there are entirely good people out there in our system, people that care deeply about their kids and their colleagues. And this is the time for us to express that. It's time for us to be very clear about what it is that we believe. So I want to share with you that we had a different opportunity years ago. My teachers were brought up watching the civil rights on television. They saw it, they experienced it, it was real. And they were good role models. Our teachers were great role models. I had the opportunity to grow up with Jerry Mitchell as the best teacher that I had in all of elementary school. Jerry Mitchell and Connie Barsotti were the two best teachers that I ever had until I got to high school. And then we had teachers like Ms. Benson, who tackled the race issue directly through Huckleberry Finn and helped us understand the American legacy. We know these things are real, but we have to speak out about them. And we've had people along the way that have inspired us, like Alan and Alex Smith. We have Coach Lyons, We have all kinds of people that we've interacted with who made our lives better, including our teammates and our classmates. One of my good friends reminded me recently that this all really does start at home. And he's raising black boys. He's raised 2 of them. And he shared with me how difficult this has been for him after having kept kids safe for years as a safety officer in Fresno Unified, after having for years coached kids and made their lives better. He realizes that the only place that he has a true impact that he can guarantee is in his own home. So this weekend, I had difficult conversations with my kids. I have a 6-year-old who's struggling to understand. And we can't have him see the news. We just can't. I have a 9-year-old who really wants to know and whose chin quivers just like his dad's. And he really wants to understand. And I have a 13-year-old autistic son, 12-year-old autistic son, who just doesn't get anybody being mean. He just doesn't understand. So we told them. I reminded them what I learned when my parents took me to Washington, D.C., and I got to go to the Smithsonian and visit Gettysburg and visit Lincoln's deathbed and the story that that represents in our country. And I got to share that with my own kids. What are we sharing at home right now? My parents made the point in this town as educators to help me know how I fit into this world. I'm asking you to do the same. I think it couldn't be more important at this time. After those discussions, I found my 12-year-old laying on the floor in silence in his bedroom, and he just got out his Martin Luther King book and his Jackie Robinson book, and he was trying to understand. He just wants to know. He just wants to care. I'm really hoping that you remember to have these courageous conversations, because in your home, you give the gift of a new generation of hope to the world, and you get to shape that. When you come back to Madera Unified and you rejoin us with our kids here, I think you'll understand why we've been doing this equity work all along and why it matters to us. And I really do believe that Marvin Gaye's words couldn't have been more important when he reminded us to talk to me so you can see what's going on. There's a lot going on in the world, so let's talk about it and let's make a difference. Thank you.